All right. Hello and welcome to This Week at Shrouded, your go-to source for all things Destiny. That's right, your go-to source. I'm AGreeNer, and today we've got a special episode lined up. We're diving deep into the latest blog from Bungie.net from the 22nd, covering the exciting updates, changes coming to Season of the Wish, from the fascinating collaboration of the legendary Geralt of Rivia, to significant tweaks in the abilities and gameplay mechanics. There's a lot to unpack, actually. So let's jump in right away. I don't know. Did I say my... I'm AGreeNer, your host. I forgot. Co-host today, Mr. Wrecked and Shaco. Is it Shaco or Shaco?
Shaco, technically, but
Shaco?
I respond to both. But yes,
Okay.
Shaco. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
You're good.
Was about to try it. Lucky you. I kind of want to know if it works, but I gotta turn the chat off though, so I don't look at it anymore because it distracts me.
Don't worry, I'm still watching you all.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if bits come through in the chat. If none of the lights flicker on and off. So, yeah, well, first, normally we start off with a little bit of talking about other games in the world, and then we actually get into the post itself. So, I might as well ask, anybody been playing anything other than Destiny for the last week? I'll start off with our friend, Mr. Wrecked. You got anything on the go, man?
I've been playing a little bit of Overwatch. I've been playing an indie game, roguelike called Death Must Die. It's kind of like a mix between like Hades and Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
It's kind of my jam. But I mean, that's it, really.
I mean, that sounds cool.
So there you go.
You play anything other than Destiny,
Yeah.
Checo?
Not this week. I've got, gosh, a backlog of how many games that I'm trying to play. I'm sure, like most of us that are enriched in this game for so long, it's like I should play something else. But Destiny's still alive, so now I'm gonna pick up. Gosh, I'm gonna forget the title now. Some indie game that I bought on the PlayStation Store the other day, but just to try to get some, depending on how long this season goes. Next season, I'll probably start to dive in some other stuff, but nope, it's all Destiny all the time when I'm not working.
Gotcha. All right. Well, all right. So we'll move on to me. I didn't really do much gaming at all this week. I've been away since Saturday to Wednesday, working. So I've had the last 2 days to catch back up on work, the Shrouded stuff, and trying to get video testimonials for the partner anniversary 6-year anniversary stream, whatever we want to all call it. That's happening tomorrow, and a bunch of other shit that needed to be done. And I haven't done a recruitment post in like a week, and it makes me sad because I always look at like the amount of people that come in every week, and like the list is almost zero this week, and I'm like, oh my god, not good. But it's the way it works. Life doesn't always pan out the way you want it to, so what ifs. All right, so perfect. All right, so nobody, we're not doing much. I want to play some Destiny. It's funny because this week I've got three. Well, after tomorrow, so we're gonna do the big stream tomorrow. So I got Sunday and Monday to finish my Deadeye, my Dredgen Guild, and my Conqueror Guild. I gotta do it all in like at one day.
Good luck.
I can do the Conqueror Guild pretty quickly. Like that's only a few hours. Deadeye is probably fine. And Dredgen, I actually played a bunch of Gambit during Festival of the Lost. So I might be pretty close. I forget how close I am. So it might not be that bad. But All right, so let's kick things off with the latest collaboration that everyone's been looking at. Bungie has announced a unique collaboration featuring Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf himself, known as. Anyway, what do you guys? I got a bunch of other shit written here, but it's whatever. It's Witcher skins with Season of the Wish. I thought they actually looked pretty good, except for the Warlock. I didn't think that looked that great, but the Hunter and the Titan look pretty good. The Titan looking most like Geralt himself. What are you guys' thoughts on the new monetization skins?
I was a little thrown off by the Titan helmet. I agree with you. He kind of looks the most, but like the Titan helmet was almost felt like medieval, like joust with the way the front was flat. But yeah, the armor looks pretty dope.
Looks too much like the Kratos helmet, in my opinion, but whatever.
That's
Camera's fine.
Yeah. All right. What are you guys' thoughts on it likely costing?
They'll be at least $20 a pop.
$20 each, probably. Yeah.
Probably.
They might be 25. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But probably 20.
It is what it is. Honestly, it's not my favorite thing in the world. Never has been, but
the internet seems pretty angry about it. But aren't they angry about everything?
What, the internet's angry about something? Stop.
The internet or Twitter?
Twitter and Reddit.
Well, listen, Twitter. You make money on Twitter by being angry, so you can't take too much stock in that.
Yeah, but most of these people being angry have like 4 followers. They're not making any money. They're just angry. They're just angry souls that hate the world.
The Destiny community having been a member of several different gaming communities now for several different games. The Destiny community is the biggest bunch of whiny bitches of all of them.
Yeah.
By leaps and bounds.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Did you guys see the new huge gaming layoff that's like barely making any news? That happened this week.
I did not.
THQ Nordic. They dropped like 800 people or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yeesh.
And guess what? You barely hear anything about it, but whenever fucking Bungie lays off 100 people, they all goddamn well lose their fucking minds.
I was gonna say the same conversation we had last week about this.
It basically was. Yeah, nobody was saying anything about Epic or Ubisoft or fucking whoever hit, and then like we just got hit by another huge one, 8 times the size of a Bungie's, and then it just nobody's saying a goddamn thing. It's crazy. It's crazy how, I don't know, they're literally insane. Everybody, all of them. I don't know. I don't get it. Oh well, I'm glad the SGC's not like that. If they're all angry, they're keeping it to themselves because they'll know I'll beat them up.
I was about to say, glad the SGC isn't laying people off right and left.
No. I'm glad they're not just like super angry, fucking yelling into a void of nonsense.
Oh, there's plenty of angry people in the community, but they get told to shut the fuck up pretty quickly.
By Wrecked personally.
Sometimes.
Good job. All right.
I am the tyranny that some people flee from. That's what it is.
I've heard that. Inbred hard R.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Something that's more directly gameplay focused. The seasonal artifact, the Queensfoil Censer. The focus this season: Solar Strand, Stasis. It's a blend to shake up, I was gonna say Battlefield, but that sounds weird. With some new dynamics. I guess Battlegrounds makes more sense for Destiny. There's a lot of potential builds, strategies that could open up. Some focus on rocket launchers. Looking at some strong perks around ignitions and the shatter effects. For those of you that don't have Beyond Light, you're going to have to buy Beyond Light. if you want to play with stasis, because especially on Xbox, there's going to be a lot of people that lose access to it because a little birdie told me that Destiny Beyond Light is leaving Game Pass within the next, I don't know, couple weeks, or it's already gone or something like that.
Listen, the artifact is about using solar and rockets with a tiny sprinkling of stasis in there. If you're not using solar and rockets next season, you're not going to be playing the game right.
Yeah, so Apex Predator is going to be even more goated than it already is.
All right, yeah, I was going to ask you how you plan to leverage this to dominate, and I guess the answer is solar and rocket launchers.
Yeah, it's going to be Radiant and rocket launchers all season long, and nothing else.
Cool.
There'll be that one hipster running around with renewal graphs who keeps getting kicked out of raids because he won't switch to solar.
No, be nice to the newbies. That's what we're all about. All right. So, what do you think of that meta? I guess boring or okay?
I wouldn't call it boring, but I mean we've seen the stasis solar combination like twice before now, so it might be more repetitive than boring. But I personally think solar is one of the best subclasses, if not the best subclass across the board. So it's always been fun, but yeah, we've seen it a bunch now, so we'll have to see if anything spices it up a little bit as the season goes on. But yeah,
it's not as if we hadn't had an Argent Ordnance season before, so it'll be almost exactly like that. The only difference here being that instead of it just being active all the time, you're going to have armor charge. But
correct. Yeah.
You know, and with the build changes coming when we get to the ability changes, maybe there'll be something there that'll make it a little bit more difficult to use, but I actually doubt it.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm excited for a little solar. I don't mind playing it around. I've been playing a lot of Void and Strand stuff on Hunter, obviously in Lightfall, but so I'll take some solar stuff. Let's do it. Let's change it up. All right. Let's delve into some of the ability changes coming up for Season of the Wish. They're trying to set up, a more balanced gameplay experience. Fucking salt. Let's not. Just kidding. I had to say it.
Twist that knife a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so the focus here is on ensuring abilities, particularly those with longer cooldowns, align better with the intent and cost the output ratio. Basically, what that means is they're looking at a more strategic approach using abilities, making decisions more impactful. Additionally, the excessive player survivability is being addressed. Changes signify a move towards more challenging and rewarding encounters. So Guardians, prepare to evolve your playstyles in response to some significant updates. What?
This is the shoot more update. They're tired of people throwing melees back to back to back or grenades back to back to back.
Yep.
That's it. That's the bottom line. I don't know what they mean by the way this is worded. It's like this is a recent problem that we're fixing, even though it's been this way literally from the day 3.0 subclasses dropped. So,
Witch Queen.
I don't know what problem it is they're trying to fix at this point that hasn't been out there for a year, but whatever. More than a year, almost 2 years now.
Yep.
I mean, you're not wrong. So we get Void first. So that was first season of Witch Queen, and then it went. It might not have been Void. I can't remember which one was first. Either way, one was the first season, one was the second season, one was the third season. So officially, right now, even the most latest one is a year old.
I think
and the last one was
Void Solar than Arc, if I remember correctly.
Is that the order it went in?
That sounds right.
We definitely had solar during the duality season. I remember that specifically. A lot of restoration times 2 in duality.
And then when Arc came out, everybody was like, "This is bad because it doesn't have as much healing as Solar does, and I don't know how to play it anymore."
Yeah, everyone
I'm
lost
bad
their
at the
minds.
game.
Jesus, brutal. Yep, you're right. Okay. I mean, even Solar didn't have the restoration power as much as as much as Solar did the season after, because the 2.0 Solar thing was part of the artifact. So, or the restoration types 2 was part of the artifact. Every time you use the Solar ability, it would proc. So basically, it was free Solar restoration like constantly for everyone, especially hunters. You got it every time you fucking dodged.
Or Titans.
Or
Every time they
Titans,
got hurt and Lorelei procced the Sunspot, and they just became unkillable gods no matter what activity they were in.
But
to the point
you needed to have Lorelei.
People were like, to the point that people were like, "All right, we need to wipe on Golgoroth." I can't wipe. He can't kill me.
take the exotic off, man. Anyway, it's all good. So talking about survivability, so what I have here, they're shifting the sandbox, focusing on defense and support. However, Bungie acknowledges the need for balance with some outliers, including Woven Mail, Restoration, and Devour. And it's not just a tweak; it's pretty much a fundamental shift in these abilities. It's about finding a sweet spot where the gameplay is fair, challenging, rewarding, all that jazz. If you're used to surviving now, you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to rethink some of your strategies.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad, except in Grandmaster content. I think everything up to Master is gonna function pretty much the same as it has right now.
Okay.
They're not stopping the rate at which you can proc things like Restoration ×2 in the current sandbox, which, you still can, but it's usually for like a second, but that's enough to get your health up. And 100 hit point heal on Devour is still significant considering how often you can proc it, right? They're not really reducing how often Devour can be procced. So
all right,
it's going to matter in Grandmaster content where if you're close in, you're going to get chunked for 100 hit points plus on single hits. But on other content, I don't really think it's going to matter.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right, because it's like, even like normal strikes, you're locked at -5 or whatever it is now, -10.
Yeah.
So it's like those enemies, if you don't have that stuff procced, you might feel the difference a little bit. But like if you're running Devour and swallowing your grenade with max discipline, you're still gonna get healed every 10 seconds, if not more often, and still 100 your entire health bar without the overshield. So.
Gotcha.
It will probably push people in Grandmaster content to revert back to long distance engagements, which is kind of a snooze, but it's something that people are still doing today. Especially anybody who uses a cheese spot for a GM is universally sitting way far back and plinking away at stuff, so it's not really going to change things for a good chunk of the community anyway.
That's me. Always sitting in the back.
I was gonna say he's doing.
I think last season when I did Conqueror, actually, Grim and Chicken Joe just like basically carried me through all of and I just like kind of walked along behind them as they just like killed everything. It was pretty delightful, to be honest. I asked him to do it this season, but he ignored me.
Nothing stops some of the more abusive builds that are possible in GMs anyway, like the triple Cenotaph Warlock that basically just uses a rocket as a primary the whole time. Like that still is going to be completely viable, but you're going to have to really lean on those builds rather than some of the choose your own adventure type stuff anymore.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, we're gonna keep moving right along. I think we got some good thoughts on that. Let's shift focus to the melee abilities. In the upcoming season of the Wish, Bungie is refining how sprint and slide activated melees work. The key change, you may ask? You can no longer activate these melees after firing a weapon during a slide. This impacts abilities like a seismic strike and shield bash. It's pretty subtle, yet a significant change that emphasizes skill and timing in close quarters combat. Additionally, Tempest Strike is getting a boost in damage and consistency. Yep, that's about it. So I saw a little bit of anger about this, but I don't think that's how it was supposed to work initially, right?
So the Titan community came out and was all up in arms about this. And it was all Bungie hates Titans and always has. This is really aimed at PvP. Bungie hates Titans, even though after these changes they're still the strongest class. PK Titans on Void with SMGs are still going to run the Crucible all next season. Nothing's going to change there. And I think people are making too much about it. The place that this really hurts, there are three scenarios where this really hurts. All right. Number one, Titans are not going to be able, in PvE, are not going to be able to pull off some of the big 1-2 punch combos that they are today. It's not going to be possible. There's not enough time. You can't fire while you're sliding and then initiate a shoulder charge. It's just not possible. So that sucks. Peregrine Greaves is getting a huge boost, so maybe that will still be fine. But that big combo is not going to work. Warlocks have one abusive melee in PvP. Fire a grenade, fire a wave frame on the ground, and then do the electric slide. All right, that's gone. I think this actually affects Hunters worst of all, though, because it takes Tempest Strike, which was already edge case in PvP, that it really needed a shotgun for cleanup, and changes it to not being entirely useful in PvP at all, in my opinion, even with the buffs they're giving it.
Yeah,
So,
I think I agree with you. I'm a little weirded out by the Warlocks because I think I get killed by that Warlock slide more than anything else. In a PvP match, they're coming at the shotgun Warlock slide is pretty deadly or with a wave frame. But yeah, I think the Titans especially are going to get hit by it. But yeah, the Tempest Strike change is weird. If they were going to buff Tempest Strike, then why initiate the change with Tempest Strike? Because that thing didn't hit anybody in the first place.
I think the buffs were to kind of soften the blow of what this is going to mean for Tempest Strike not being able to shotgun and then clean up with the melee, but
it didn't work.
It's not going to work. The problem is when you do a Tempest Strike, you are stuck in the air, right?
Correct, and you're a sitting duck for 3 seconds.
Yeah. So, we know that this was aimed at Titans, but I think it affects the other two classes a little bit more acutely, honestly, because everybody can still slide shotgun and do a regular melee and get the same effect, basically, because that's still, if you hit your pellets, that should still kill whatever it is you're hitting. So,
Indeed, I agree, but I can't hit my pellets, so that's why I always die.
This change sucks for AGreeNer.
Yeah, no, I never use Arc Hunter anyway, so doesn't matter to me.
Bad.
Well, it's the weakest subclass in PvP. Well,
yep.
Let me rephrase that. It is the weakest subclass for the general populace. It has a much higher skill ceiling.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I already talked about that. Okay. Let's talk more about the Titans, Banner of War, and Bonkhammer. Bungie is adjusting the Banner of War to slow down its charge progression, making it a bit more challenging to reach the maximum charge quickly. The change, combined with modifications to the Throwing Hammer and Sol Invictus, represents a shift in Titan gameplay. Throwing Hammer now returns energy over time, and Sol Invictus Sunspot duration has been reduced. Tweaks might encourage a bit more of a dynamic, strategic playstyle, but it might not be enough. We'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, the Banner of War thing is weird. I almost would have thought that if they had slowed down the time in between pulses, might have been a better change. So instead of like, what is it now? Every like 3 to 3, 4, or 5 seconds, whatever it is now, make it like every 7 or 8 seconds.
Banner of War is still broken as fuck.
It's
after
still super strong. It's still super strong.
Yeah. All right.
If they wanted to make Banner of War less of an auto pick on Titans, like the only real pick, if you're playing a Strand Titan in PvE and you don't have Banner of War on now or after this change, you are playing Strand Titan wrong, like levels of broken. Mm-hmm. They should have taken away the healing altogether and just had to be a damage buff. That's my personal take on it. The only reason they gave it healing, I think, is because there's not a whole lot of sustain otherwise inside the Strand kit. So
yeah, that's fair. But healing's for warlocks anyway.
Every class has a way to heal with a subclass or with subclass plus an exotic.
I was trolling warlocks. That's all.
But I mean, yes, we know they all should be running well and nothing else until Salt Greppo gets his way, right? And probably even then they'll just be worthless, but still well bitches, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So I don't really think this is going to affect Banner of War. It's going to take a slightly longer amount of time to get it up and running, but it gets built and kept up by your teammates. Like one Arc Warlock with an Arc buddy just means your Banner of War is up all the time, right? Nothing's going to shut it down. It's just going to be up indefinitely. So that's a nothing burger change. And the amount of bitching and moaning about the hammer changes all over the internet it's so dumb. All right, it's still a full recharge. It takes 1.4 seconds. I don't think these people realize that are complaining about it that the moment you fire that thing off and kill something, it's gonna proc your sunspot, and your fists just do powered melees until the buff runs out. So you can continue to punch things with your flaming fists of doom and proc more sunspots. It's fine. It just means you're going to be throwing a hammer, throwing a regular punch, throwing a hammer, throwing a regular punch. It's not going to fundamentally change things.
But I don't get the bonk.
The bigger change here is the reduction in uptime on the sunspots.
Yeah. So
whether or not this is actually a nerf is wholly dependent on how long sunspots actually stay up now.
Okay. I don't play Titan enough to have an opinion, so that's why I asked you.
I don't either.
This suffers the same thing as every other time Bungie nerfs anything. If Bungie nerfs a thing, they come out saying that they're going to nerf something. The 90% of the Destiny community instantly says, okay, well now this is trash, can't be used, right? Even though better than half the time, whatever is left post-nerf, still good, still worthwhile, still strong. It's just that the Bungie community has no nuance. They read something online, and that's just the gospel, whatever they just made up in their mind, right? It's the same reason that the majority of casuals don't even make their own builds. They can't even come up with a build on their own unless they watch the YouTube video first. Fucking lose. I mean, nice people.
Be nice to the casuals. Do you not know what our mission at the SGC is?
I love casuals. I love sherping people through raids, but the ignorance about how the game works, and more specifically, the bitching that comes out of it, that when you read what somebody's bitching about, clearly demonstrates they have no idea how the game actually works. So they're screaming into the void. They're raising their blood pressure. They're having a coronary over what is actually not a fucking problem. Irritates the fuck out of me.
Yeah, people that
couldn't tell.
I do hate when just people that don't know what they're talking about are just fucking angry about tons of shit because somebody that they follow on Twitter is angry, so they just jump on the train. They don't actually have any idea why they're mad. It's crazy. It is crazy. People are crazy. Crazy. All right. Let's keep going. We're making great time. We have an important update coming during the next season. The adjustments to the super cooldowns. Specifically Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn. Bungie's increasing their base cooldown times, aligning them with some of the burst supers. This change is intended to create stronger...
This change is intended to make people stop bitching about Trials of Osiris with Dominion on.
Correct.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to put stronger competition in round-based modes. So
No. Trials of Osiris.
Trials of
with
Osiris.
Dominion turned on specifically.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. I wrote trials down too. I wrote for those who rely heavily on these hold on. It's a significant development, particularly for those who rely heavily on these supers. How will this reshape the dynamics of Trials of Osiris in other competitive modes?
It won't.
People are still going to run bubble. They're still going to run well. They're just going to have to wait an extra 30 seconds to get it. Like, put on another mod. Put on a dynamo mod or something. I don't know. Whatever mod increases your super regen when you use your class ability. Just throw up your Titan wall.
This creates counterplay in the fact that Blade Barrage should be charged around the same time as a bubble or a Well of Radiance. But because the Titan kit is still so strong, you're not going to see a lot of Solar Hunters running around. That's it. There's still going to be mostly Void Titans running around in the playlist. PKs with Void Titan, with Overshields, with Bubbles is just too dominant still.
Yes.
So there's a counter now, and the other, I guess, quote counter is Chaos Reach, but I don't even know if Chaos Reach can pop a bubble on its own. I think if you put a whole Chaos Reach into a bubble, I think that will pop it, but it won't kill the people inside.
Yeah, you're still going to have enemies leaving, and then it's just like the Tempest Strike. You're going to be strung up in the air with nothing to do.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see if this means that there are more solar hunters around. I don't think it's going to reduce conditional finality usage because conditional is still going to be necessary as a counter for these things. It is slightly closer to Nova Bombs being charged, so there might be something there, but by the time these supers are charged, you're still going to be late into the game. Probably somebody having 3 or 4 wins already. It just means they won't have it on game 3. It'll be game 4 and game 5 that they pop up. It still might not be enough time for a player who hasn't gotten a lot of kills to be able to have a Thunder Crash or a Nova Bomb or whatever ready. And if that proves to be the case, it's not really going to make a huge difference to what it is they're trying to address.
And it's still, well, those games with like the high end players too that go 4-4, 5-4, like there's still going to be 3, 4, 5 wells and bubbles in that final round because people are just racking up damage all the time. It's like,
it's definitely a problem right now. I was watching DeFizzle play today, and he was playing against a triple Titan team. It went to 4-4. The other team had 3 bubbles available. They just got close enough to pop a bubble, and they chained their bubbles to the point and just walked via invulnerability to the point and captured it. Right? There wasn't anything to do.
No.
Sounds like a fun game. All right, so sounds like we're saying it's not going to change much. Maybe a little bit of it's going to give a little bit of possibilities for some counterplay, and maybe people will be a little less complaining. We'll see, but unlikely. It's the Destiny community. They're probably going to complain. The Warlocks the Hunters are going to complain just as much as they do now. And now the Warlocks and Titans are going to complain because their abilities were nerfed. So there's going to be more complaining. More than there was. I don't know if I can handle more complaining. I can. It's all good. Let's talk a little bit about stasis. Bungie's implementing some quality of life changes to improve stasis reliability and effectiveness. We know how Wrecked thinks about this already. He said it sucked. No. He was talking about the artifact, maybe not the actual changes. Anyway, this includes tweaks to the fragment suite, specific abilities, bring them up to par with current abilities, power bar. We're seeing adjustments to Withering Blade, Winter Shrouds, Shiver Strike, and some others. Enhancements are set to bring a bit of a fresh feel to some stasis gameplay, offering new ways for Guardians to interact with the subclass. Unlikely that stasis is going to become your new go-to, but maybe it gets to play a little bit more next season. Thoughts?
I'm not the biggest stasis user in the world to begin with, so the changes to some of the fragments, I'm just like, what does that one do again? Without actually looking at my screen. But I do think that does provide a little more viability to hunters with some of the increased slow time, but is it going to be enough to put stasis hunters over the top as a end game PvE meta choice? No. You're still better off running tether or strand or solar in certain situations.
In PvE, I think warlocks. I think the rich get rich. The rich get richer. Warlocks benefit a pretty good amount from all this when they were already very strong in both PvE and PvP with stasis.
The Frostpulse change was...
PvP, granted, it's in lower skill lobbies or very high-end players who only specialize in it, right? But in PvE, it's whatever. The only call-out I have here is... there is a artifact mod called Hail the Storm, which increases shatter damage. If that works in PvP and the bonus is substantial, we could see a season of the Shatter Dive meta come back.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Just got boned up.
First season of Beyond Light was my best PvP season of all time. Nobody could stop the hunter.
It was miserable. I'm gonna just say it. It was so bad.
So it wholly depends on how much, if that applies in PvP, and if it does, what the damage boost is gonna look like. If you can get the one-hit kill off a Shatter Dive where you've frozen somebody, it's gonna be the Shatter Dive meta all over again.
And it does seem like that's gonna be the case, just based on surface value notes, but we'll see.
Let's go, baby. Well, I mean, what's to say exactly is shattering encased targets and stasis crystals deal increased damage. Shattering a stasis crystal releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets.
Yeah.
So if you get a group of enemies,
you can get the freeze off with an enhanced, like a glacier grenade or an enhanced dust field. That may be enough to get it done. An enhanced glacier grenade is probably going to be exactly what it was before. Enhanced glacier grenades all day long.
Yep.
Have Bacchus on and or renewal grasps, since their nerf was reverted mostly, and go to town.
Got it.
Or stompies, which are going to be everywhere again. But I think we're about to get to that.
Are we?
I mean, exotic changes are what's up next in the TWAB. So.
Great. Yeah, maybe. I did skip over that in my notes. And was gonna ask if you want to talk about the armor mod changes. We can go back to the.
No, we can do the armor mod changes.
Yeah. Okay.
We can go back to the exotic armor in a minute.
Sorry,
the armor mod changes fundamentally change build crafting, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's gonna be more important to spawn elemental drops, because they're gonna be a more reliable way to get armor charge when you need it, which is hilarious to me. Arc Titans are gonna pretend like these changes didn't even happen, because ionic traces and pulse grenades. I mean, you throw a pulse grenade, you're getting 4 ionic traces. You are getting at least 1 armor charge off of that, since you get 1 every 3, right? With ionic traces. So I don't think it's gonna affect them that much. But for everybody else, I feel like these changes are going to drastically slow down ability regen across the board.
Definitely, it's and if I read it right, and maybe I didn't, like each like mod now for that affect abilities now scale. Did I read that right? It's like things like bomber and things like that, and like 1 mod, 2 mod, 3 mods have scaling effects rather than just the flat 2.
Yeah. So it functions the same way as like PvP mods do, right? So like outreach, bomber, and distribution. It's for all of them: momentum transfer, bolstering detonation, and all of this stuff. It's all 12, 17, 20. So depending on how many of the mods you have on.
So how many people are gonna dedicate like 3 bomber mods to their armor slots now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So the more difficulty changes. Sick.
I mean, it means use your guns more, and it's going to mean things like Pugilist and Demolitionist are more important than ever to have on your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I love demo weapons to begin with. I have a ton of them.
Yeah, they're good.
So
they're good for sure. All right, so we'll get into the exotic stuff. We'll end off with the exotics. Well, I guess we'll end off with the Fire Team Finder stuff, but let's get into some of the exotics.
right.
So yeah, they announced a series of changes for exotic armors, emphasizing enhancements to underused exotics, focusing on melee oriented for all 3 classes, and some of the Aeon occult stuff. So let's go through this in a little more detail, and I've been doing some other stuff. So Shards of Galanor, throwing knife kills now grant super energy, with the amount varying based on the type of enemy killed. Cool. Shards are pretty useless now, so adding some extra super energy to the throwing knife itself is a nice little change. We'll see if it makes it good enough, but
they're bringing it back kind of like it was with the actual super before. Now it's just replacing it with the throwing knife. So if you can hit your headshots, you'll get that throwing knife back pretty consistently.
Yeah, and you could probably get your super up pretty good. So Ophidia Spath, or Spat, I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyway, knife kills grant stacking damage bonus to all throwing knives, with dodging refreshing the duration. So it's a time thing. You dodge, it refreshes it, and as long as you're getting those precision, these are based on precisions for sure. You just keep going, and the damage keeps going up. I mean, I'm sure I didn't look if there was or I didn't write down if there was a limit, but I'm sure there is.
It's 30, 60, and then 100% damage
for
boost.
5 seconds. That could make throwing knives pretty strong.
Pretty strong. Yep. With some high mobility. Keep that rolling. Yep. All right, Stompies. Movement benefits no longer require a full class ability. Okay, a full class ability energy, airborne lateral acceleration bonus reduced, added damage resistance against combatants while airborne. So, am I reading that right? They made that change, and then there's like, nah, that change sucked.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So they still have the AE penalty that they had previously, right? Now you just get the movement all the time, but they reduce the amount of lateral boost you get on your jumps. That's it. And then the damage resistance in the air, that's only a PvE thing.
Okay. All right. So you can't jump as high, but you don't need the energy anymore. So that's
you can't jump as far. It's not going to give you as much horizontal distance.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Mechaneer's Trick Slaves, sidearm damage bonus persists after shields begin to recharge. Sidearm kills extend the bonus duration and reload sidearms from reserves. PvP damage bonus reduced. Okay.
By a lot. They reduced it by 25%. So
Holy
that is a
moly.
hefty nerf in
That's-
PvP.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, this to me feels like, oh, we added anti-barrier sidearms to the thing, so now we need to like tweak it for PvE to make it viable for people to use anti-barrier sidearms when everybody's just going to use Wish Ender anyway. So
Got it. Okay, Bombardiers now apply slow stacks to enemy players and PvE combatants. Cool.
whatever.
Triton Vice increase glaive melee damage bonus while surrounded. Okay, so basically
A 70% increase on the damage it was doing previously in PvE, and a 90% increase to the damage it was doing in PvP.
Yeah.
With the right mods on your glaive, you will be able to one-shot guardians in PvP with a glaive melee.
cool.
Yep.
You're gonna have to have an ugly-ass lobster arm to do it, but it'll be possible.
So yeah, those heavy-duty glaive enthusiasts, we're going to find this change fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, and to round off the Hunter Exotics, we got Celestial Nighthawk. They're adding a super energy gain system based on precision kills. So it's a nice little boost as well. Nothing wrong with that. I'll take it. More supers. More supers. Anything that makes some of these old-ass exotics that nobody uses anymore a little bit more viable is always a good thing.
Agreed.
Titan Exotics. Alright, Severance Enclosure, increased explosion size and damage, kills with the exotic explosion trigger an additional explosion. So boom, 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 chain reaction, bang, bang, bang.
This is a criminally underrated exotic that is one of the most fun Titan exotics to use. I'm glad to see that it's getting a boost, especially since these explosions traditionally can trigger other things in the Void kit if you've got Void on. So, like triggering volatile explosions, for instance, you can set those up. So you could probably clear a whole room with Severance Enclosure after the change just by finishing something.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I won't have much to say about the Titan Exotics, so feel free to chime in like you just did. But anyway, Peregrine Greaves must be airborne briefly for the exotic effects to apply. Damaging champions, tormentors, or mini bosses with a shoulder charge deals increased damage and refunds melee energy.
All right, so Peregrine Greaves with the 1-2 punch in the air followed by the shoulder charge. 1-2 punch shotgun followed by the shoulder charge was a consistent way to one-hit lower health bosses and especially champions that were stunned. That's no longer possible. So the question is going to be how much this additional damage, this additional increase in damage is. Hopefully it is enough to compensate for all of that 1-2 punch damage that you're not getting.
Yeah, this airtime change is more reverted to like it was in Destiny 1, where you had to float through the air for a while before you used it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take your words for it. Wormguard Caress reworked to include a meter that increases with melee kills and finishers and decays over time, providing escalating damage bonuses.
So Worm God gave a 600% damage increase before, but you had to set it up, and the bonus was only active for a second or two. It's why people use Syntheseps instead of Worm Gods, because Syntheseps is just easier to use. This is going to give you a bar that is going to give you incremental bonuses, and then when you get to the higher levels, it looks like it's also going to give you weapon damage bonuses on top of that. So if it's giving you the 600% melee or with a glaive melee, and it's giving you things like solar weapon surges or weapon surge bonuses, this might be a very cool exotic to use. depending on how quickly the meter is going to decay.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
Ashen Wake. I got scared for a second. But Fusion Grenade impacts now stun unstoppable champions. So, cool.
Why are you getting worried, Greener? Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw
I love
Ashen Wake and I was like, wait, are these going to get nerfed?
No, I love Ashen Wake Gauntlets. I think they are one of the more practical exotics when it comes to changing your abilities. And the instant explosion will now stun unstoppables, which are the most pain in the butt champion, if you ask me. So another way to take those down is more than welcome.
Greener's just afraid they're going to break his AFK farm.
You know, I haven't AFK farmed in like 2 seasons, so you can tell right now I'm still literally 1 level under doing GMs at full level, and it's the end of the fucking season. So brutal. Anyway, rough season for me. I've been too busy at work. Not the season itself. The season itself I found actually quite interesting. I just haven't had the time. Anyway, Syntheseps, a swap increased melee lunge range for improved weapon handling and reload speed, adjusted glaive melee and surrounded melee damage bonuses. Okay, cool. Does that mean anything?
So this is a 35% damage reduction off what we have now for the people that are using this in a way that maximizes the bonus. So Banner of War Titans, who are doing their boop cannon followed by a 1-2 punch shotgun followed by a melee. This isn't going to fundamentally change all of that. It's actually going to make the weapon swapping faster. And when I'm running Strand, the Syntheseps will still stay on, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, it's not a detrimental change. It's just a reduction. Yeah, it's not. You're still going to use them. They're still going to be good. Just I might force people to use glaives with them more than they already have. But 1-2 punch shotguns are still nuts.
Got it. Absolutely fun. Yeah, I gotta play Titan more, to be honest. I don't know what half of these things do. Anyway, Precious Scars kills with weapons matching your subclass will now apply at Restoration at Tier 1 in PvP and PvE. Good, bad, good?
I mean, listen, giving you additional healing or changing... I don't know how much the healing was giving you before. This is exactly what the perk already did. It created a burst of healing around you. I don't remember if it was instant healing or if it was healing over time. So I don't know if this is a nerf or a buff. I've never used it because the helmet looks like a melted crayon and I can't bring myself to put it on.
True.
So, I can't really speak as to whether or not this is a good or bad change.
Me neither. Got nothing.
Okay. All right. Easy peasy. And that ends off the Titan Exotics. We'll move on to the Warlocks and then drop the AC changes and shortly after that. Looks like Warlocks got less exotic changes than the rest of the classes. I'm sure people are complaining about that. But we'll start off with the Ballador's Wrathweavers. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Jesus Christ, what a name. All right, casting a Frost Pulse Rift grants allies a Stasis Surge, weapon bonus, and Overshield. Modifies the stasis damage bonus provided by Winter's Wrath Shockwave. Cool. So, Stasis Surge, weapon bonus. Okay.
This will not be enough for me to take off my Osteomancy gloves.
Okay, fair enough.
Nope, I don't think so either. It's a cool change, but no.
Unless for some reason some sort of stasis weapon next season becomes like meta for boss damage, then I don't know why anybody would. And you'd only need one of these, right? In a group.
That's correct.
So
I might play around with it at underlevel content or whatever. But when I'm running a GM or something, and I'm running Warlock, it's still gonna be turrets.
Yeah.
Well, something like Riptide or one of those really cool stasis weapons that everybody already uses could be beneficial, but yeah.
Okay. We'll drop down to Apotheosis Veil. Casting your super grants Cure Tier 3 for you and your nearby allies. Increased melee and grenade regen after the super ends. The fuck is Cure Tier 3?
It's Cure Tier 3.
It's a healing burst rather than the...
Yeah, it's a big boost of healing all at once. I don't know how many hit points. The bottom line here is that
So it's
if
just
you didn't already have Apotheosis Veil sitting in your vault, don't go farm it. This isn't. You're not going to use it.
Okay. This is low budget Sunbracers. They're doing the exact same thing basically.
I just didn't know it was a heal was called Cure in this game. Like, is this Final Fantasy?
No, when you throw a healing grenade on the ground, it gives you, or you hit something with a bonk hammer, it gives you cure.
I've literally never used the bonk hammer once, and I've never used a healing grenade in this game. So that's why I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you wouldn't see it anyway. There's 97 buffs on your screen.
Yeah, that too. All right. Fellwinter's Helm. Move the weakening burst size and duration of the weaken up 1 tier. So a little bit more.
Helm looks cool. Also stays in the vault.
Okay.
Yeah. The only time people are using this is like solo Nezarec is basically the only time I've seen it, and even then you're finishing the champions. So
got it.
It's no change.
Karnstein Armlets. Melee kills grant Cure Tier 3 and Restoration Tier 1. Finishers grant Cure Tier 3 and Restoration Tier 2.
You were using these before because you were a melee stand with your Warlock. You're still going to use them, and that's the bottom line.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that's all the Warlock exotics. We'll move into the Aeon cult changes. Sect of Force, rework to provide bonus weapon damage against powerful combatants. Rapid precision hits now mark targets for increased damage by allies. That sounds okay. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but I mean, I guess it depends on how much that increased damage is. Probably not much, though. Sect of 20%. Insight. Yeah, see, that's not enough to make me. Well, maybe one person. Yeah, maybe. All right, well, we'll see. Anyway, Sect of Insight, if it stacks. Sect of Insight modified to grant a burst of super energy to nearby Aeon cult allies. Oh, damn. So you have to have... Multiple people have to have it on?
Mm-hmm.
And you get super energy? Okay. Well,
lame.
Yeah. And then Sect of Vigor now provides damage resistance against combatants when an ally dies or is resurrected. Changes to class ability energy recovery. That's it. So that's some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't particularly care about that stuff, but I mean, cool, I guess.
Nope, they've only ever been good for the heavy ammo drops, but now you have Cenotaph, which basically does the same thing that they're changing Sect of Force to do. So what's the point?
Fair. So the last thing really that I want to touch on is Fireteam Finder is not ready, but they're going to release a beta to us. Anyway. So, anybody who plays on PC, I feel like doesn't give a fuck about Fireteam Finder at all. That's my opinion. I'd much rather go into Discord and find somebody to play with. And depending on how fast this shit works, like, if you couldn't find somebody in the SGC, like, Destiny 2 LFG is instantaneous. Like, you get anybody to do anything you want in that Discord at any moment of time, basically. So, we don't need this. However, I do understand I understand the being on console, a lot of people tend to use Discord less. Obviously, we personally have made it pretty mandatory, and people have gotten used to that. But that's not the whole console community. So I think a lot of people on that side of the fence is going to hop on this and be pretty happy about not having to use the app anymore, as long as this beta works. Because I know they the only reason they're releasing it is they talked it up so much leading up to season 23. So they're like, shit, we can't, and we're not on the good side of the community. We can't not release this. So now they're going to release a half-baked version of it, and hopefully it doesn't shit the bed. Thoughts?
You know what I have to say about this, AGreeNer?
What?
You know when we needed this? You know when we should have gotten this LFG?
When the game released?
We should have gotten this in-game LFG on September 6th, 2017. Yeah. When the fucking game released! Not now! After we have 5 million tools to find a teammate outside of the game, which we're still going to use because those tools are going to be better than whatever nonsense they put in the game that's going to still be full of people posting know what to do, even though those assholes have no idea what to do and they're just looking for a carry. They're just too scared to say so. Or it's going to be filled full of people that are going to be like, the ad is going to be trials carry $20, which Bungie isn't going to do shit about, just like they don't do anything about on their LFG on their site right now, today. All right? That is what's going to happen. This is the most useless piece of shit development. Listen, Bungie developers who worked on this, I'm not shitting on you personally, all right? You were given a job to do, and you did it, and we're going to see how it's going to work. This being a Bungie game, it's probably not going to work. They're going to deploy it, and it's going to completely make the game not work. You're not going to be able to get into a fire team anymore unless you go through this or some weird shit like that, and they're going to have to just turn it off. But that's not really your fault. That's their lack of QA's fault, or their overseas QA, because since they fired all their QA and they're doing it overseas now, all right, it's going to be some foreign QA person's fault for not even knowing what the game is about to begin with, or not to know to look for the 5,000 common bugs that's in every fucking release that Bungie gives us, all right? Anyway, it's not the devs' fault. It's Bungie's fucking fault for committing resources to giving us a useless tool that we don't actually need, that we already have workarounds for, and instead they could have been giving us more actual game content, or better balancing, or one more fucking Crucible map, or hey, maybe a new Gambit map! Anyway, that's all I got to say about this LFG. I'm sure it's going to be great.
All right, moving on. Anybody else got anything?
I got nothing to add to that.
That covers it pretty much.
I don't think I'm as angry as Wrecked about this fire team finder, but I obviously said basically the same thing earlier. Like, we already have resources that do this, yep, and that does it better than what they'll have. I don't think you're gonna find carries in here like Wreck does, because I don't think you're going to be able to put titles and shit inside it. I think it's going to be like you select an activity, and like if they build it like any normal fucking human being, like for example, World of Warcraft's Fire Team Finder is you pick a dungeon, you say what class you are, and then it finds people and it launches you into it. That's it. End of story.
AGreeNer.
What?
If you look at the article that came out earlier in the week,
I didn't.
That gives examples. When you look at the listings, here are some of the listing names. You tell me if you
can
think
change the fucking listings.
System generated.
Who's made this shit?
Calling all guardians, only warlocks, only strand. Looking for group, a couple of emojis, stasis only. Chatting using Discord, a couple of different emojis. Hello, friends. Fresh clear. Experience requested. Looking for experienced guardians. Teaching. Looking for help. Several emojis.
This is just the app in game. How is this taking so long?
Maybe these were buzz phrases that they programmed in.
No, I didn't read this shit. I didn't read this shit.
I don't
didn't
think
look
so.
At this.
So
are you fucking
I'm fully
kidding me?
expecting to see trials carries $20. every Friday.
Oh my Christ.
And even though that's clearly breaking Bungie's terms of service, and it's actually in the game, and you would think they would have some algorithm that could detect that shit, it's going to be there every weekend.
Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me? What is this garbage? Listing details. Yeah, you can put in your own shit. That's fucking so stupid.
Look at the last one. Look at the tag on the last one. One of the tags they want for their Queensfoil is kind gamers. Bro,
Yeah, right.
that
This is
raid is going to
Bungie
be
and
full
Destiny.
of the most toxic, racist, anti-Semitic, transphobic motherfuckers that you ever did see. Just because they saw that tag kind gamers.
Yep.
I know how this is going to go.
I don't understand this shit. Why don't they just, like, you click Kingsfall and you get put into a group? Like, why does it have to be all this nonsense? This is not how to do an LFG Fireteam Finder. You don't want people to be selecting which ones they want to join. You queue up for an activity and you get put into a group. That's how it goes faster. That's how it works faster. That's how everything is faster. People might say, oh, well, you can't do raids that way because they're too hard. Do what fucking World of Warcraft did 20 years ago. They made the raid dungeons or the LFG raids and LFG dungeons easier than if you just go in with a preformed team. It's so fucking simple. Like, why is it so hard, Bungie?
How were you expecting that when we know that the commendation system was supposed to be tied into the LFG? So theoretically, meaning the commendation system would be a way for you to set limits on who could even join your group to begin with, right?
You can put like fucking 1,000 commendation only, shit like that.
Well, originally you were supposed to be able to have filters based off stuff in your in the commendation scores.
Oh Jesus Christ! Okay, I didn't pay enough attention, I guess, because I don't remember.
But the power.
This is terrible.
Ahead,
I was gonna say the power of the copy and paste button is too strong when it comes to this stuff. So it's like they're not gonna sit there and like revamp it. Because when they initially showed it off, you're absolutely right. It was like, you know, have this commendation score, blah blah blah, whatever, and the commendation screen was meant to exactly be that. Was to force people to play with people of the same skill level, not like AGreeNer said, just the Bungie LFG. Copy paste.
This is just Bungie LFG in game. Like, it's no different.
Yes.
There is zero chance that I ever use this if I'm looking for randoms over the LFG server. Because at least in the LFG server, I can quickly chat with the people to make sure that our group is going to be
literally the only way I would ever use this is for some reason I've lost all ability to use Discord, and for some reason I need to do an activity right then. I cannot wait for whatever fucking reason. It's the end of a season. It's my last chance to get fucking some title. I don't know. But, like, that's the only reason I can imagine it. Meta loadouts? Fuck off.
That's a 0.000000001% chance.
Yeah, this is terrible. All right, I'm very disappointed.
This is aimed at the people who don't even know that there's LFG on the website, ultimately.
Correct.
Those are the people that use it.
Yeah.
And listen. Those people aren't watching this stream or going to listen to this podcast. So I don't feel bad in saying this, but I don't want to play with them. So it's fine.
Find some friends. Like, what do you want?
Listen, I'm not shitting on casuals. There's nothing wrong with being a casual gamer. But when I sign on to play Destiny, it's very rarely am I just turning on the game to fuck around. I am turning on the game to like do something specific. Mm-hmm. And I ain't got time unless I have set up time to like teach somebody how to do something, which is fine, right? I've done lots of Sherpas, especially for Crota's End. I don't have a problem doing that if I know that's what I'm getting into. But that's what I'm going to get every single time I use this LFG for anything. I'm just not about it.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just so disappointed. Hey, Siren. Long time no see.
Stop reading the chat, you fool. You're going to get distracted.
I'm sorry, we're at the end of the stream. She just popped up. I want to say hi. All right? Calm down. I haven't seen her in forever. Okay, so you're totally right about all this. It's garbage. It's trash. It's for people that don't even know there's an LFG on the app or there's Destiny LFG. However, I do see a way where Shrouded can utilize this. We're going to be setting up teams to go in here and find people that don't have clans or know anything about LFG and teach them about how awesome Shrouded is. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Why not? Surely these.
I mean, that's a good idea.
It's a good point. Go in with a group of 5 and or a group of 4 and be like, hey, looking for a couple people that don't know what to do, and it's a fair point.
Yeah, get them in here. Could be fun. Could be a lot of fun. Just set up Sherpa runs inside here. Get one person doesn't know what they're doing. Be like, hey, what's up, dog? Well, you got to come join our voice chat in Discord. Might as well join a clan while you're here.
That's how you sucker them in.
Boom, just like that. All right, we should end the streamed version of the recorded version of the podcast. Unless anybody.
Oh wait, there's one more thing.
Okay.
Oh no, there's no animal picture.
Oh yeah, Hippie's gone.
Listen, Cosmo, if you happen to hear this and you're the one writing this shit, we need animal pictures, you nice guy. You lovely community manager. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh man, someone subbed and my lights didn't go off. It means it's not working. I'm sad.
All right, outro. Then we can...
Oh, wait, it's because I have select new subscriber, not resubscriber. Fuck! Alright. I hate my life.
Get us with that outro, baby.
No, in a minute. We're going to do plugs first. Plugs.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do the big plug. Tomorrow is the SGC's 6th anniversary catastrophe-style stream. We're going to be having a great time, an amazing time. We're going to be watching some video testimonials, which, if you haven't put one in, you should. If you're staff and you haven't put one in, you're fired. I'm just kidding. But I'm very mad at you. What else? I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah. So that's happening tomorrow. Probably around 2 or 3 Eastern we'll go live. It's going to be extendable like normal. Hopefully we'll have this system set up so you guys can play around with the lights a little bit. The good thing about what I was talking about earlier, if you weren't here, with having the light system be triggered by actual bit donations rather than extensions, is those bit donations will now count towards the bit goal, which unlocks giveaways, and it will also extend the timer, which it never did before as a sound alert extension donation. Just so everyone knows, if they never noticed that, it was in fact a problem that we were never able to solve other than manually adding time, which I never did because I never wanted to stream longer because I was already dying. But now you can kill me more. Hopefully, if it works, we'll see. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know how to turn them off. Shit. Okay, no more sound alerts during the podcast. Just give me a minute, please. Thank you. Wait till we're done. Oh my god, okay. Guys, I'm gonna have to cut this from the recording. Stop it.
Hey, now just leave it. Just
No.
go with the outro.
Nobody
Just
wants
ignore
this
it.
fucking shit on an MP3. You're just sitting in your car and fucking Baby Shark starts playing.
It's Baby Shark with you complaining about it at the same time.
Yeah,
See,
all
that's
right.
content.
Okay.
It's content. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we plugged that. Come show up or drop a testimonial. The link is in the Discord and the announcement channel. I posted it everywhere. You guys should be able to find it, no problem. So do you got any? That's all I got to plug for right now. You got anything you want to plug, Wrecked?
I will be streaming on Sunday, trying to work out the kinks for this cookie contest and get the updates done for the holiday bingo. I may also work on. I've been working on an event for either January or February that is based off a YouTuber, G Miners, who put out he's in the middle of a series called Zero to Hero, where they randomly select one of the raids and they go into the raid with nothing but white gear, and the only gear they can use is the gear that drops while they're in the raid, and then they go to the next raid that's randomly selected. So and then continue and see how far they can get using only the gear that drops that way. So I've been testing with the SGC Sherpa core to see what the best rotation is and how viable the raids are when you're not using glitches or speedrunning strats to get through them. Just doing everything legit, like you would expect most casual raiders to do. So I'll probably be working on some of the documentation and infographics for that on Sunday as well.
Okay. Cool. That sounds fun. Shaco, you got like Twitch or YouTube or anything you want to plug?
Nothing that I'm actively running. I mean, I have my Twitch obviously, but no PC to run it off of. So it's me and my 26 followers that I never stream to. It's a good time. So
Got it. All right. Well, maybe next time.
hopefully, trying to get it back.
All right. Sounds good. We're going to end off the recording here. So basically, it's clear to me Season of the Wish is set to bring, some significant changes into Destiny, like most seasons do, really. There's always something going on or something new. Exciting collaboration. I'm excited for the Witcher stuff. Substantial abilities and gameplay adjustments. Hopefully it invigorates some Guardians, get back into the game. Or whatnot, whether they're strategizing for some new styles of competitive play or just, new metas for the PvE challenges. It should be good. These updates could, I don't know. If they're going to change things up too much, we'll see. Anyway, could be fun. Could be a great experience. It might suck. We'll see. Thanks for tuning in to This Week at Shrouded. I'm AGreeNer, your host, co-host, Mr. Wrecked, and Shaco. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, keep your light safe and your aim true. Bye, Guardians.